Good evening. This is Jeffrey Blake with FlopTurnRiver.com. Recording I'm just showing you one table of 1-2. I've got another one going that I'll pull over if anything interesting happens. But for right now, we're just going to focus on one table. Actually, if anyone would like to comment on whether they'd rather see multiple tables going or just the one, I would be perfectly happy to take your opinions and factor that into future videos. So I'll try to have a post corresponding to this sometime or something, or you can private message me, Jeffrey, Jeffrey GB, and just let me know. Anyway, you can see there are a bunch of numbers on the screen. Give us some statistics about the types of people we're playing, and I'll reference those if and when they affect any decisions I make. We've got a decent position at the table. We've got two of the looser players to our right, two of the tighter players to our left. So it hopefully should turn out to be a pretty decent session for us if we can get anything going whatsoever. It hasn't been a lot that happened since I sat down at the table. You basically just missed one orbit. Obviously, from under the gun at Queen 4 is an easy fold. I can't really think of a position that I would play that from, to tell you the truth. And suited or not suited does not matter there. Suitedness doesn't really add a whole lot of value to your hand. I know we all like suited connectors, but that's because there's more to them suited. And you can hit multiple ways, but for just an individual hand, being out of position there too. Clearly we're not going to play a 6-4 out of position against a raise. It doesn't matter that we have the money in. It's just not worth the play. Now here with the 8-7 suited, I'll go ahead and call. It's kind of marginal because, again, we're going to be out of position, but we are getting 5-1 on our money there pre-flop, so it's not costing us much, and we do have the implied odds to make a pretty big hand, especially against one of the looser players at the table. But we don't hit, so we're going to go ahead and just check fold. There's no reason to try to make a stab at this pot. We don't know enough about either player to know if we can get them to lay down, and it's really not likely to be worth it to try. I'm going to try to split this video. Actually, it'll be two videos. I'm going to try to split it into two related sessions. The first one, I'm really going to be playing, just pretty straightforward. And then the second video, I'm going to actually try to the extent that it seems like the thing to do at the time, make use of any reads I can pick up and that sort of thing. And I'm not saying that I'm just going to play completely, card oriented, completely by the cards for that first half an hour, but for the most part I will. Like I said, against two players here, we're just too likely that one of them is going to have something that can beat us. There's no reason to take a stab anywhere in that hand. It's just not a good spot. Now we have an ace-jack offsuit on the button. I cannot imagine any reason to not raise when that's folded to us. We'll probably end up just taking down the blinds, but that's okay. Something else that's kind of ace-king. With this guy having a deep stack, that could potentially be a good thing too. We are going to go ahead and re-raise with the ace-king. Carl seems to like this min-raise pre-flop. He's done that a couple of times now. I don't know if it means anything or if that's just his standard betting amount, but it definitely gives us odds to call at times. And this flop, it has a flush draw. It has a decent amount of straight potential. Honestly, it hits way too many hands that people can be calling with. I'm just going to check behind and hope that we hit one of our 10 outs. We don't. Looks a little bit less likely that he has a jack now. We'll see what he does and go from there. He bets $23. I forgot that we had... I'm going to go ahead and raise him here. Make it look like we were trying to slow play. He calls and we do not hit on the river. And he checks to us. Well, I think we're going to just have to check behind. We can't beat anything, and I think he's calling a lot. It was a mistake not to bet the flop. And he had kings. Yeah, he was not going anywhere. We really should have bet that flop to find out a little bit more about where we're at. Okay, got a hand at this table. It was folded. It was limped to me on the button, and I raised pre-flop. I hit my set on the flop. I'm gonna go ahead and raise this guy up. Just a little bit of. Guess it didn't work out. A little bit of history, I guess. He had seen me in the past actually really kind of overplay a draw into a hand where he had aces. So I was hoping that he would put me on a draw there and pay me off. It didn't work though. Go ahead and reload. We lost $75, but that's no biggie. I wouldn't be surprised at all for Carl to give us, or Cal, I guess, to give that back to us, and then some. I started to make a note that he min-raised with his kings, but there was another hand, I don't think that you were here for it, where he actually min-raised with what I assume is just a random hand. I hit a pair of nines on the flop and took it away from him. So I don't think that min-raise meant anything. I think it's just a standard bet. I'll note that. With the pocket deuces here, we're just gonna go ahead and see the flop. Hopefully we can hit a set and make some money. But we didn't. And there's no reason to get fancy. We'll just go ahead and let it go. I'm assuming that we're gonna get some action here. We didn't, which we don't mind either, but we're still not gonna get out of line. Something that some better players than I have said repeatedly is that 95% of poker is just playing, straightforward by the book. Players checking twice. I'm going to go ahead this time and actually take a stab and see what happens. If we get re-raised, we'll let it go, but we may take it down without going to showdown. Didn't work out. Kind of surprised that he went that far without betting, but that's why we should have just checked it down. Small mistake there. Alright, I have another interesting hand at this table. Pre-flop I just completed in the blind. We'll fold our 4-8. And then we hit trips on the flop. And I let out for it, and our opponent re-raised, so that's good for us. Here, I'm going to make a small value bet, and hopefully he'll try to take us off the hand by shoving. Of course, here we're going to just have to put him all in. Oh, we were both kind of playing each other. Well, that's unfortunate, but there was no way that was